When the Romans were marching me to the galleys, thirst had nearly killed me. A man gave me water to drink. I went on living. I should have done better if I'd poured it into the sand.
No.
I'm thirsty still.
Come and listen.
I've business with Rome.
You insist on death?
This year marks the 50th anniversary of Ben-Hur, which was released in 1959 by MGM and went on to win an astonishing 11 Academy Awards, including Best Picture and Best Actor in the title role for Charlton Heston. It clocks in at more than 3.5 hours if you count the musical overture and entr'acte and the intermission, and the fact that there is an overture and an entr'acte and an intermission suggests that they really don't make them like this anymore. Everything about this picture is enormous. It was shot in 65mm film and then blown up to an aspect ratio even wider than the screens at most cinemas at the time. The budget on the picture was $15 million, which back then was actually a lot of money. There were more than 300 different sets built and an army of extras that could have populated a small country. Just as a feat of cinema, Ben-Hur is astonishing. If you think about the fact that there was no CGI, there were no digital special effects, this was all shot by a camera on sets, on locations, on sound stages. Everything that you see in this movie is really happening in physical three-dimensional space. And at the center of this movie, certainly the part that everyone remembers, is the endless chariot race, 9 laps around the circus, that took 5 months for the crew to film. Now, half a century on, there are aspects of Ben-Hur that seem a little bit campy, but that's part of the fun, is that you can appreciate this movie in an ironic kind of way. For one thing, there's Charlton Heston's square-jawed, hyper-masculine performance, which adds an interesting shading to the picture's homoerotic subtext.
After all these years, still close. In every way.
The acting style is somewhere between grand opera and soap opera. The characters are always overcome with emotion, and when they are, they tend to turn away from each other dramatically.
Should I love them in the way they most need to be loved? Not to look at them. Should I let it be as if you had never come here?
But Ben-Hur is more than a historical curiosity. It remains an extraordinary work of cinematic art. William Wyler, the director, had a resume that stretched back to the silent era, and there was really nothing he couldn't do with a camera. The musical score by Miklos Rozsa is terrific. The sets, the costumes, the production design, everything about this movie is operating at such a high level that you can see why it won all of those Oscars. Because sometimes bigger is better, and sometimes the biggest picture is also the best.